I'm Gabe Morrison, and I'm a PhD student in English, and I've been awarded 2 Aetna grants. One of them I used last year in order to share research that I was doing as part of my role in the first-year writing program. We're researching a new curriculum, a writing curriculum that we were implementing for the program, and I was sharing that research at the National 4Cs Conference, so the Conference on College Composition and Communication, which is a national conference on writing in higher education. The other grant, Aetna grant that I used to go to a composition research institute at Dartmouth College, and I spent 2 weeks coding transcripts that I had collected on a study that I was doing on social work writing, looking at how social workers use writing in applied practice and also how they transition between applied practice and graduate school writing.
So my name is Rami Bolin, and I'm a graduate student in the literature program here. I did my PhD, and I also received a research and travel award, and I used it to go to the Council for Writing Program Administrators Conference this July. Actually, Ruth was there too. We presented together with another graduate student, Alex Gatton, on, I'm going to forget our exact title, a writing program administrator in transition, and then something about liminal authority. Yep. As graduate student administrators in the program and in the department, and I definitely could not have gone to the conference without the Aetna award. The conference registration is pretty expensive because it is pulling in a lot of people who are already working as WPAs, so people who have kind of professor funding, faculty funding. So it was really great to be able to attend this and meet and see other people who are doing this work after graduate school, and to kind of make those connections, and then also to see what these other writing programs are doing. That was very exciting. People who are in the midst of change, as we are, but then not to toot our own horn, but also I thought, wow, we're doing something really innovative. I felt like going to these other panels about writing programs, we're kind of ahead of the game, and that was really exciting to see that and see that context at the conference.
Sorry, my name is Kaylee Moats. I'm also a PhD student in the English department. I also used my Aetna travel grant to help defray some of the costs to go to a conference. Mine was a little bit different though, in that I went to a literature-based conference, but I knew that I wanted to present work about pedagogy, and thinking about the ways that doing a sort of different writing project that was different from the traditional literary analysis would help my students learn something about the literature rather than just saying, can you interpret this piece? So what I presented was how I paired a certain writing assignment with a particular book. The particular book was thinking about rewriting history through post-apocalypse. And so then I asked my students to kind of mirror the same moves that were happening in the book in their own post-apocalyptic narrative. So I asked them to sort of pick a historical moment or a historical theme and rewrite it from a different perspective through post-apocalypse. And the audience was really interested in the whole panel, which was on pedagogy, and my project in particular. So it was nice to get feedback and talk about it more.
My name is Kyle Barron. I'm an MA PhD student in the English department, specializing in rhetoric and composition, and I won one of the Aetna Research and Travel Awards. And I actually used the funding to attend the Connecticut Writing Project Summer Institute, and it was just a wonderful summer institute run by the Connecticut Writing Project. A whole bunch of high school teachers, secondary teachers, some university teaching professionals all get together and they have a wonderful month and a half long institute where they explore education at large, and it's great because not only do you kind of focus on research and zero in on something that you want to possibly tackle as a researcher and as a student, but you also get plenty of opportunities to work on creative writing and some of your personal pet projects. The Aetna funding that I received really helped because I took it for credits. It's a 6-credit thing if you take it for credits, and that's quite expensive because that doesn't fold into our GA show. So I defrayed some of those costs, and it was great. It really helped.
My name is Sophie Buckner, and I received 2 grants from Aetna. The first was the Aetna Creative Nonfiction Award, which I received for a personal/critical essay about my experience as a grad student who's also a mother. And that essay was an interesting piece for writing because it was a collage essay, and I was talking about the separation of the private and public spheres and the woman's experience. And so the collage essay definitely helps to portray that experience, the split identity, better than a traditional essay would. So I received the award for the creative nonfiction, and then I also submitted that piece to a conference in Georgetown University, and I presented there and spoke about how writing in this way can better portray the experience of people while still including research and theory as well, but get a better picture when you have the raw experience and the poetic expression than just the cold hard facts.
So I'm Nicole Lawrence. I'm a 5th year PhD in the literature program here, and I actually used the research and travel grant award that I got to go to a pretty standard literature conference called the British Women Writers Conference, which was being held in Alabama at Auburn. And it's interesting because the project that I wrote that I presented was actually for a literature course here, but I'm really interested in the way that writing functions as a tool or an agent of social change. And so I was able to kind of go to this conference with this added sort of focus where, okay, I have this award and I'm focusing on writing specifically. So it kind of helped to shape the way that I presented my conference paper down at the conference, and I received really good feedback just kind of thinking about writing overtly as writing rather than kind of doing the typical conference read a paper about literature and how the literature is functioning. So I think it was an interesting opportunity that kind of changed the way that I focused my own scholarship, which wouldn't have happened if I hadn't applied for the award.
Hi, my name is Catherine. I'm also a PhD student in the English department. I got an Aetna grant for this past summer to attend the International Writing Centers Association Summer Institute. That institute is designed for new directors in writing centers or more veteran directors or grad students directing to learn more about the ins and outs of writing center administration, tutor training, and doing research in writing centers, etc. So I went there for professional development experience to kind of get to learn how the sausage is made, so to speak. But one project I was kind of working on was I was trying to revamp our 1-credit training practicum for new tutors. I wanted to think about how to make that 1-credit practicum more engaging despite the 1-credit limit, and to get tutors more critically involved in writing center pedagogy and theory in ways to help kind of reimagine what the writing center is and does on particularly UConn's campus. So I got to meet some really cool scholars there that do a lot of work on tutor education specifically. So I got to learn some neat tips and tricks that I brought back to campus, and we're now using that curriculum that I designed over the summer.
I'm Megan Brown. I have received both the Aetna Graduate Student Writing Award and also the Graduate Student Teaching Award at different years. So most recently, the Graduate Writing Award sort of gave me the support that I feel I needed to turn my writing into a journal article, get it sent out to share with other scholars in the discipline. So I had a paper that I've written in coursework actually many years ago, and having the opportunities to submit it for consideration for the writing award actually helped me return to it, revisit it, work with my professor to continue to develop that work into an article-length project. So that was very fulfilling, definitely. And then the teaching award was very special to me, I think, because here in this department we all spend a lot of time on teaching, and so it felt really nice to see that recognized, particularly through how personal that award felt. I think the judges all spent a lot of time considering why somebody should receive this award and ended up giving really personal feedback about what they enjoyed about the course, what they felt you did in the classroom, which was really valuable to me, sort of to get that feedback, to have vocabulary to think about my teaching that came from the outside, sort of felt encouraged to continue that work.
My name is Ruth Book. I'm a graduate student in rhetoric and composition here, and I received a travel award to go to our big national conference, college communication and composition conference on that. And so I traveled with our research team, actually with Brenda, with Lisa, with Gabe, I believe, for this one. And so this was an opportunity for me to present my dissertation research as it's connected to the administration work that we've been doing. But it also just allowed us to kind of see what's happening on the cutting edge of our field well before publications come out, that sort of thing. It allowed me to connect with some of my peers that I met at other institutes and that sort of thing. And I don't know that that would have been possible without this award.
Well, my name is Carol Ann Jackson, and I'm in the sociology department. And so I actually didn't get a travel award, but I got an award for teaching of writing. I think in addition into like the economic benefit, of course, I think one of the best values I got from this was like the actual award, because I love teaching. As I've been trying to figure out how to position myself and how to continue to refine the craft of teaching and connect with students and improve myself, it was really like an honor to be selected, and not tooting my own horn, but it was unanimously. So when I found that out, I was really honored, and I think that it's kind of like another type of currency where now hopefully as I go on the job market at some point, I get to say, like, I've received the Aetna teaching award, right, of writing, and that's really exciting for me. Actually recently started connecting with another school that's not UConn, and I think it helped because I got a job offer to teach a methods course like later this fall.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So I've been trying to work on that. I've gotten my certificate in teaching college instruction as well. It was like the perfect kind of marriage of things coming together, and I still am really excited that I was able to receive the award. Yes.
It was also the first time we had a panel of judges that were, across a wider swath, and I was personally really thrilled, because part of my goal with the Aetna is to continue to support the work of the English department, but to expand the outreach of Aetna across the campus for graduate students. So it was really important that you saw it and that you applied.
I was happy I did.